Hello YouTubers and welcome to another episode of the vlogs. As you can see, we're back at Leander Club after training at Dorney Lake for the past couple of days. The pairs are still there, hence why we did some pieces in the fours. Hopefully you enjoyed that little bit of footage of us rowing in the fours, getting some yam on down the Henley course. But it's always interesting switching from the lake to the river. I've discussed that a few times, going from slightly calmer or more predictable water to river sort of water. But as you saw yesterday as well, the water at Dorney wasn't exactly very predictable. The weather hasn't been great to create predictable rowing conditions, but you never know what conditions you're going to get when you're actually going to race, so it's good to practice in all conditions. So going out in the bad conditions, getting used to rowing in those conditions is always a good thing to do. But obviously sometimes you just really want the sun out, you want that flat water, you want that glass to row on just to get a bit of yam down a bit easier. But obviously you can't have that all the time. But now, after a session like that, obviously we have to go get some food, because remember, food is fuel. So we're going to head into the crew room and see what everyone's up to. Oh yeah!
It was this time World Cup one where if they didn't draw a good one,
and we've made it back into the crew room
and then they just kept drawing
at Leander Club. We've got some delicious breaded egg toast. We missed that for the last couple of days. Great fueling up after the session. Ed, how was your set?
It was really good. It was still quite choppy, but not as choppy as yesterday. And we're in a nice little fall, so it was good.
Oh yeah! And we have made it outside of the club for another day. Pretty good pieces in the 4, very different from rowing the pair, which is very different than rowing the 8. And what are the main differences from rowing in those 3 boat classes for sweep boats? Because mostly what I do is sweep in pairs, 4s or 8s. So in the pair, it's quite a slow boat, and a lot of the emphasis, at least I think, is on the finish as well, because where the pins are in relation to, so you've got the pair, the 4 and 8, the pin is, there's more degrees for the finish, and in the 8, relatively to the pair, there's more degrees for the, or less degrees for the catch. Sorry, less degrees for the 8. There are less degrees for the finish. So, therefore, there is a bit more emphasis on the finish in a pair and a catch in an 8, just purely based on where the pins are. But that doesn't necessarily mean where your crew should be focused on, whether it's the catch or the finish. That's purely based on your coach and the rowing style, etc. But the biggest difference in the 3 boat classes is the speed of the boat, and that really is where all the differences sort of circulate. So you have to be a lot sharper in an 8 to sort of keep the 8 going, because it's moving that much faster. But in the pair, since it's going a bit slower and it decelerates more because it has less momentum, you have to sort of pick up and send the boat each time. You have to collect the boat on the catch rather than the 8. Yes, you're collecting on the catch, but you're sort of just making sure you're in the water and sending the boat, keeping the boat going, rather than the pair, you're trying to push the boat forward every stroke. And then obviously in the middle you have the 4, which is a sort of bit of both. So it's not quite there on the catch as an 8 and not quite there on the finish as a pair. It's a bit in the middle, so you have to, yes, collect it, but also, so you have to push it like a pair, but also keep it going like an 8, because you have the momentum, but it's not as much as an 8. But that's pretty much most of the differences of those bigger boats. And obviously there's a lot of things to do with, so you only have 2 guys in the pair, and the 4, there's 4 guys in the 8, and there's 8 guys, and that feeds into a lot of the energy in the boat. With more people, there's more energy, or at least that's how I kind of look at it. With the more people in the boat, you've got more people to bounce off of and more energy to create from those people, and that can really sort of propel a boat forward. And then in the pair and the 4, you've got less people, and in the pair it's just the 2 people in the boat, and that is it. So it's really just trying to really sync up with that one person, whereas the 8, you have 8 people in the coxswain to really make one goal from those 9 people. So that also makes a difference as well. But really the technique is really all about the speed of doing things. So when you go from a pair to a 4 to an 8, you have to adjust, especially when you're doing pieces, you have to adjust. You're thinking, yep, I'm just going to collect the boat like I would in the pair. But then if you do that in the 8, you end up going from you almost feel like you miss parts of the stroke, and then you have to sort of rush to get back. So you have to be much sharper and much more aware and on it when you are switching boats in general. So we've been switching around this week because, like I said, we're at Dorney the last couple of days, and then we didn't want to bring the pairs back and forward. So 4s today, and then back in pairs for trials coming up in a couple of weeks. And that will be it for today's video, Yam Squad. So it's a little bit shorter, just some pieces, then some food, and then we're heading off for the rest of the weekend. And I'll see you all on Suit Monday, Motivation Monday, whatever you want to call it. Hopefully all of you have had a great week, and as always, remember to subscribe if you haven't already, hit that like button, and have a good one.